So I review a lot of tech over the course of the year, right? Primarily phones, some tablets, some laptops and things like that. But by far and away, one of my favorite pieces of tech like ever is the Asus Rog Ally. And I said that several months ago upon its release, and here we are 6 months later, and I still feel the same exact way. Now, using this thing basically every single day for a myriad of games like Tales of Arise, Cyberpunk 2077, there are a lot of thoughts that I do have on this device and what makes it so stellar, and certain things that can be improved upon and have been improved upon. And one of the reasons that the Ally is one of my favorite devices is that I can also use it for work because it's not just a gaming handheld, it's also just a portable PC. For example, in my clinical work as a therapist, I need to use software that you can only run on Windows. And what's amazing is that I can just hook up a mouse and a keyboard, and I have a desktop PC that I can do all of my clinical work in terms of like documentation and notes on with no problem. Now, two of the biggest changes without a doubt are the gyro sensors being activated in the Rog Ally for your gaming and the anti-dead zones that you can set for your sticks, for your shooters, for whatever game that you're playing, right? So you're gonna wanna go into Armory Crate, make sure everything is as up to date as possible. You don't know, gyro sensors are essentially like when you're playing an FPS game, when you're aiming, instead of solely using the sticks, you can actually tilt the device, set it to control either your left stick or your right stick. So for myself personally, playing a lot of Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, being able to aim and then have a lot of fine, precise detail instead of using your stick and using the device is amazing. And yes, it makes a huge difference for fine, precise aiming in games like that. The anti-dead zones are really nice because in some games, depending on the way that certain games are set up in their settings, stick movement is going to accelerate at different rates and your dead zone is going to be different by default in different games. So you can go into Armory Crate and adjust things so your sticks are more responsive or as responsive as you would like them to be. Those two things have honestly changed gaming a ton for me here on the Rog Ally. Before, there was a little bit of a situation where you would tilt the stick ever so slightly and you wouldn't really get movement until your stick was moved a certain amount. But with the anti-dead zones, now things are a lot more sensitive, in my opinion, a lot more responsive. And I think that Asus did a really good job here implementing those two things. It's been amazing. And the flexibility and performance profiles from like silent to performance to turbo are amazing. And that way you can get longer lasting battery life out of games that are not as demanding as say Cyberpunk 2077, which me personally, I like to run at that maximum turbo setting as frequently as possible. But if you're playing something like Hades or an indie game, you don't have to jump up all the way to the maximum settings, even though they're not super loud as it is, which is great if you're like on an airplane or the train, don't want to bother those around you. But I will say, I can run this on turbo downstairs with my family if we're all kind of hanging out, and no one's ever complained that it's too loud or they think that it's breaking or sounds like a rocket shooting off. The Ally honestly has really good thermal cooling solutions, and this never gets insanely loud. Bear with me, my voice is not the best right now. I'm a bit sick. But the important thing here is that on average, if you're playing like on turbo mode, you're getting like 45 minutes to maybe an hour worth of playtime. But I personally purchased this Inui power bank. This is not an ad. It goes up to 65 watts of charging. So you're getting the full turbo mode charging, as you see there. It's a 25,000 milliamp hour battery. The reason I chose that size specifically is so that if I'm going on an airplane, I can legally travel with that. Because I think over that size, you might run into an issue, at least here in the United States, where they press you because the power bank is too large. There's certain flight regulations, but I personally like this one a lot. And I also have this little adapter thing right up here that hooks around the back of the device, so that way you're not putting as much stress over on that port. And with this bank at full turbo the entire time playing Tales of Arise or Cyberpunk or something like that, I'm able to get around, I would say, like 2 to 2.5 hours, sometimes more, worth of battery life depending on the game that I'm playing and depending on the power setting that I'm using. The Rog Ally has a maximum brightness of 500 nits. What that actually means, practically speaking, beyond the numbers, is that if you want to play high quality gaming outside like Jedi Survivor or Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Forza 5, whatever, you can do that max brightness on this display and have no problems. I mean, it's a clear blue sky day. I have some shade over me, but for the most part, you can just be outside in nature and play some games. Now, by virtue of the glossier screen, if the sun is like directly above and there is absolutely no cover, depending on the angle, you're gonna have some difficulty there. But for the most part, you can be outside, touch some grass, and play some games. the speakers. I will never forget the first time I got this, loaded up Forza Horizon 5, because of course, and I gave this to my dad, blasted the speakers, put everything at like the maximum fidelity settings, and I let him play it, and he was blown away by how great the speakers sound. You feel the rumbling of the car in your hands, the roar of the engine, and seeing the smile on his face was amazing because he's a gamer too. He enjoyed playing like the old Game Boys, he had an SNES, all of those things, and his response was that this is like a Switch on crack, which I'd agree with. Now, something else that's improved a lot are some of the fine-tuned controls you're getting out of Armory Crate. So if you go over here to settings, come down to operating mode, you'll see that over here in Eco Assist, you can also control your CPU boost, which is great because that's something that previously you had to go through like a dozen different folders, toggle something, and then you could enable something so that way you can control whether the operating system was using a CPU boost. You're going to get better battery life when you have this turned off. You're going to get some better battery life with this turned off, and most games aren't going to really utilize this capability here. You're going to see some benefit in, say, Cyberpunk 2077 with some additional frames, but for most games, being able to turn this off is really nice and get some extra juice. And if you go down here to GPU settings, you have all of these different toggles. I personally think 6 gigabytes of assigned memory to the GPU is my personal sweet spot, but having all of these additional options and toggles to further optimize your gaming experience, easily and readily accessible within Armory Crate, is a huge bonus. And of course, if you're not sure what the heck any of these are, you could just hit optimize all and allow the operating system to do it for you. And if you're sort of new to the scene, not sure what the heck any of these are, you can hit the little information icon and it will bring up a little pop-up window with what each of these are. I think in general, this being a Windows operating system makes this a little bit cumbersome of an experience from people expecting like a Switch or a Steam Deck. And so having this additional accessibility with information letting you know what the heck is happening is a good thing. Now, that being said, of course, nothing is perfect, and there are times when there are glitches or bugs. There are times when I'm playing a game and the game will just crash on me. But I can say confidently that with all of the updates, that the Rog Ally today is a much better, smoother experience than when I first picked it up 6 months ago. There's no bug or glitch that I've encountered that wasn't fixed by restarting the application or restarting the console. Are those inconvenient? Yeah, they are. Flat out, there's no way to get around it. But today, it is way better than it was when I first purchased it. And so let me know if you guys are interested in the Ally or if you're more in the Legion Go category, and let me know why you're more with the Legion Go. That is something I'm thinking about doing a review for you guys just because I enjoy this portable gaming profile so much. Not having the PC side of things on the Legion Go is something that I don't think is going to be a massive deal for most people, but for someone like me, having that flexibility is really nice. But let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much again for stopping by and hanging out. I wish you a fantastic remainder of your day, afternoon, or night, depending on the time it is you are watching this. And as always, peace, love, and adios. Bye guys, have a great day, and have fun gaming. Bye.